Hello and welcome to QED Stata 5 from part S26. So here we're moving into section 3, the final section where we've got a much more complex data set on ecosystem services, and that's downloaded from the research for this article by Neugardt and Honzak et al. In 2016, and they made the data publicly available for use and reanalysis, and it's available in this workbook. Now, we can use all the hypothesis tests covered so far and more in this. Before we get started though, you're going to need to use some data management methods that we've already covered. So if you look at the data, it's kind of looking like this. So you can see this is the power of Excel. You can lay things out in all these kind of subcategories, but in terms of importing into Stata, it's going to be a nightmare because you need to have just one column heading for each column, which has got a short variable name in it. So that's not going to work with this. So you can do some prior work in this. What I would do is to first of all get this and save it. So don't work with your main version, because probably something might go wrong and then you lost it. So put something like WKAG working copy or something on the end, and then work with that. So probably you don't want to sit through every stage of this, but one way of doing this is because you need to condense this information down somehow into shorter form. So if you click on there and insert, you get a blank row. So here you can just put in your shorter name. So I'll start, but I won't carry on because it would be very boring for you to watch. So this is the code, so I'll keep that as it is. That's already okay. And this is the KBA name. You see what I mean? So you're just putting in things that are short versions of what that variable shows, and it's got to have no spaces in it, can't start with a number, don't want to be too long. So now comes the end of the row. I've given more names. The last two here, they're too complex to boil down into a particular name. These are the multi-criteria analysis. So the way these columns have been obtained is from the other data on the spreadsheet, and we could work it out, try and work it out by using statistics, or you could just go back and read the article it comes from. They'd explain exactly how they calculated these two columns. It's combining all the data from the other columns. But all the other data is easy to understand, so I'll just put these sort of shortened forms there. So flood protection, cyclone protection, avoiding emittance, and so on. Something memorable. And we could, if these are not memorable enough, then we can label the variables using a longer expression, even the whole of that label, or possibly a slightly shortened form of that, be used as a variable label in each case. So we don't want to lose this information at the top. That's why I've saved that other version of this spreadsheet. But now I've got these variable names here, what I'm going to do is just to set the top two rows and delete them. So now this can be imported straight to Stata because you've got variable names in the top row and the data is all in the rows below. So now let's import this into Stata. So still got all the other stuff going on here, so let's just import that. What I'm going to do is just use this manual thing as usual to get the command that we need. Where's that? Oh, I need to make sure I've got the right version. The working version, so that's the one. And once from the first spreadsheet tab results, see that the names are on the top there, so hopefully if we import that, it's not going to work, is it? That's because this A classic mistake, let me see if I leave this in the video. What I'm doing, I'm finding I'm importing it, but it looks as though the file hasn't changed. It's still got all that mess in the top rows, and it's just because I didn't save this here. So when I went to state it, it was still trying to pick up the thing as it was before. So it's probably best if I leave that in. So just in case that kind of thing happens to you, I'm sure it will. It's hard to see which one's which. The bottom one working. Okay, that's better now. So now import the first row of strings, and now you can see that all the variable names that I put in at the top here, and all the data is below that, so it's going to be fine. Okay, and then the reason for doing that is that I want to get hold of that command, which is what I need. So I want to start off a new do file. Something like this. So we've got a do file like this based on one of the previous ones. So stata 5 section 3. I've called the log file 5.3 just to differentiate it from the other one. It's still trying to get data from Indonesia, which is not much cop, so we need to replace that with what we've just done there. So I can go in there. You should update the part there from the Excel file. I think in this video there's a lot more complex stuff to do. There's going to be a lot of this this. So import the data from the guy got on our 2016, so that should import it. And let's just see if that's going to do something promising. Let's see. Can't select it. So let's import it so we can see we've got all the variables in there with the names that we expect them to have. And yeah, that's kind of right. So mostly numeric data, just with a couple of strings, like so. Okay. Okay, so now we've got the data into stata. I think we're getting to 8 minutes, so it's time to move to the next video, and thanks for